Today we are out at Spoaks MotoPark in Lockhart, Texas. This is about 45 minutes southeast of Austin, and so far this property looks great. I've never been here before. You might have heard of it through the MX Factory YouTube channel. It helps people learn how to ride better. But this track looks absolutely amazing. Let's go check out what they have. The nice young lady at the front desk checked me in and told me all about the property when I told her that it was my first time here. She welcomed me with a big smile and said, we have a lot of things to do here. They have the main track, they have a vet track, they have 8 miles of trails, they have a turn track, and they have a kids track. So there's a lot to do, a lot to ride today, so let's go check it out. So the main track does have a starting gate. They do race here out at Spoaks. I'm not sure what series, so check on their Facebook page. I do know that they're racing in this upcoming 2023 season. This is a cool track to race on. It's a very, very long track. This is the longest track I've ridden so far. Let me know in the comments if there's a track longer than Spoaks. I'd love to go check that out, but this is a long lap time out here. Again, this is an ungroomed track. The lady at the front told me that today they did not groom the property. The jump faces look fantastic for not being groomed. The landings look fantastic for not being groomed, but the turns do rut up really, really deep. You'll see in the video footage that there are some ruts that just go on forever. At one point I said inside my helmet, this is the rut that never ends. There are kids out here that are just putting around. There's maybe 5 bikes out today, which is awesome for them to get out and get the exposure, but they're not jumping anything. They're going slow in the turns, sometimes avoiding the ruts. I did the same. Totally cool. If it's a busy day, then this might not be a track for somebody who's a beginner. But on a day like today, it's pretty cool still. at the very front of the property, when you first pull in, there's a little track to the right-hand side. That's this track here. This is like a step up from the PeeWee track. This is like a kid's track. It's still very narrow. It's not something that you'll ever race on, but it is more technical than the kids track back in the back of the property. The cool thing about this track is that it is really smooth. It's very well groomed. There's not a lot of bumps to it. There are some elevation changes. There's some dips down. There's a bit of a muddy spot by a creek that you can go around, but generally speaking, this is a very cool track for a kid who is not his first time on a bike, but maybe just getting faster on a 50 or a 110. Not something you'd want to put an 85 on that if they're ripping around the track. This is more suited for those 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds that, like my son, are still afraid of doing a full-size track, but want to do more than just a flat track. Very cool option to find out here. Maybe it's the Florida boy, but I love sand tracks. The sand track out here at Spoaks is awesome. It's partially groomed right now, so there's some really nice smooth spots, but the turns get real soft. They've got some good ruts to them. I really like this track. The sand track is probably where I would spend most of my time because the jumps on the main track are a bit too intimidating. But this track only has 2 jumps, but it's very technical. Lots of switchbacks, lots of really tight turns in the sand, which is cool. Also out by this sand track is this really cool turn track, this Rut Track. My guess is the MX Factory and other trainers come out here and use this because the fundamentals are really what make you a better rider and why I'm not a very good rider. I can't stay in a rut to save my life, so I should practice more on a track like this. The kids track is pretty safe. It's a very flat track. There's only, I think, 2 jumps. They're more like bumps unless you're going really, really, really fast, which I don't see happening on a 50. My son is out there on a Stasic right now. He says that it's a bit bumpy, but he gives it 4 out of 5 stars because it's fun. The woman at the front did tell me that the entire property was ungroomed today because of all the rain they got. So my guess is this is usually in a smoother condition than right now, but it's still a pretty decent kids track. ride the trails at Spokes, and I have to say those were the saving grace of today. Being as the tracks weren't maintained, and they did tell us that. Again, they gave disclosures of that. The tracks were not supposed to be maintained today, but we rode the trails, and those trails were so much fun. It is single track, it's pretty technical, but it was definitely a blast to ride. You can see my son waving his hands in the background. Hello. He got to ride on the PeeWee track. We got some footage of that, so hopefully we had fun. Did you have fun?
Yes.
All right. Would you go back?
Yes. If it were not a 2-hour drive.
How far would you drive to get to that track?
1 hour.
1 hour? Okay. So Calix's review says he would drive 1 hour to get to that track. I think it's probably a 3-hour track. I took a 3-hour drive to get there today, and I would say that was well worth it for the $20 that we paid. That cost is inclusive of all of the trails that are there, which is great. You could ride all day long and not feel like you're wasting money, which is awesome. They do allow camping at Spokes. They do request that you tell them that you're camping. There is a burn ban, so you cannot do any type of burning or bonfires. But there are campers out there. There's no hookups that I could see. Please correct me if I'm wrong in that and tell me if there are. Had a good time and would love to go back out there again soon. Stay safe, everyone, and have fun on the tracks.